Hey everybody, it's Mike with Monkey Fab, and yes, it has been a long time. Yes, I know. Been busy, man. I got a job. I got a life, man. I know you guys are busy too. That, battling crippling depression, anxiety, alcoholism, all the other things vets do. So, hey, here is where we are on the insides. We're doing all of this so we can put a modern air conditioner in this car. That and it's mission creep too, because it was running just fine, but we decided we're gonna swap out the old gold box for a Holley Terminator, which we already have. It'll be drive-by wire, which will be nice. We'll get rid of the cable going through the firewall, and hopefully it'll run a little better. That's kind of the hopes. So what I have been doing is using a YouTube video that is some clown guy, something clown. I'll post a link in my video if I don't edit this out. That he did a really nice job of documenting the cold, what is it called? Vintage air install. He did a really wonderful job documenting the install on an F-body. And so what I'm going to do is just copy the same thing he's done, which is removing the old stuff and installing the new stuff, obviously. And I'm just copying what he did. Now, the only thing the only thing that I can tell that's really different on that is that on the F-body, you can pretty much pull out this whole dash, like it just lifts off here. Now my dash is spot welded over here in this corner, and there's a support spot welded in the center. So this thing, I can get this dash pad off, but there's no real point in doing that I can tell. It might come off just because trying to get to vents and whatever, but basically there is a tube that goes over to this side over here. You can see it right up in here. There is a bridge that comes off this core, this black core that you can kind of see back behind you can see it down here. There's like a little bridge that comes up, and it's got a little pipe that goes off the side that spits over to here that goes to this little vent. So this is the main vent. There's this vent, and then there's some automatic like little spots where it just kind of kicks down on the floor. So and then it has a thing where it's tied up into the defroster. So what I got to do is get this big gigantic thing out of here, and we're just gonna have to wrestle that out with the dash in the way, because there's no way to get this dash out. So I figure they must have been able to get it in there as the dash is just part of the car, so hopefully I'll be able to get it out of there easily enough. And of course it won't be easy. It'll be a pain in the ass, because that's what cars do to us. Some chick put up a post on Instagram that says guys like hobbies that make them mad. Can you imagine the gall of this lady? What we have done is, of course, we've got the engine out of here. The engine's been out for quite some time, but we removed this monstrosity. I think I'm the only guy I've seen on video that's actually taken this out without breaking it. Although, when I pulled the exhaust or the engine out, I left the exhaust manifolds on, and they kind of helped modify this casing, which just looks like paper. So yeah, this casing is gone, and it was basically just bolted to the firewall here, and there's a blower motor that goes up underneath the fender. Luckily we didn't have to take the fender off. I think we can work pretty much everything around that according to the video of the guy at the F-body. But I figured I'd document doing it here on the Phoenix, because as first gen and second generation Camaros and Firebirds and old school Novas like the 69, 70s, Chevelles and all those kind of go out of favor with like your general hot rodders, for the fact that it's not that they're not cool. They're obviously very cool. They're just becoming unattainable. The prices are going up. And I will guarantee you that this guy here, while not as attractive as the F bodies and like the Novas, the earlier Novas, Chevelles and all that stuff. It is every bit 100% as horribly engineered as those guys. I would say it's basically, from what I see, the exact same chassis. I think the X body was stretched just a little bit, the wheelbase over the F body, but it is the same crappy engineering, the same horrible subframes, the same leaf springs, the same A-arms, the same floating, I think it's called Pitman steering assembly. So every bit is horrible. So if you just want the horrible engineering of the past, you can get it with a Disco Nova, Omega, Phoenix, all these weird little chassis names, and it's just as cool. I think it's cool to have something that's just hideous and fast. We're just gonna replace some stuff, freshen up some stuff, add the air conditioning, add the 6-liter, tune it. Thanks, Bob. Bob's doing well, in case you guys were wondering. It's too hot to have the garage door open though. So he's outside complaining. But yeah, we'll add that. Oh, he's really upset now. And did you guys check out the Bob t-shirts? You know, we got Bob t-shirts on the website. If you go to Monkey Fab, that's monkeyfabgarage.com, and click at the top, there's like Bob t-shirts. And there's several different styles of Bob t-shirts, and 100% of the money goes to a Marine vet that he needs the money because he lost his job because of all this COVID virus and some family emergencies. So go buy a t-shirt. If you like Bob, and Bob likes to be liked, head on over to monkeyfabgarage.com and pick up a Bob the Shop Sheep t-shirt. They're only like 20-something bucks. So the first batch of them, that was kind of slow. COVID hit, and he's trying to work out his business model and had some backups. So those of you that bought those t-shirts and stuck through and waited, you know, for like the month or whatever it was to get your t-shirt in, I really appreciate that. Don't hassle my man. He's doing the best he can to get all that stuff. So progress report. Progress report. So we got the go box and wiring harness out of there. So we got this guy. It's all set up for you know, a Mac valve for boost control, E85. It's got the plug installed for the, you know, flex fuel sensor, and yeah. So if you're looking for a micro squirt gold box with a harness, hit me up, and we'll get it. We'll make a deal. I'm not looking for much. I said, Lord, take me downtown. I'm just looking for some touch. So here's the dash, and here is a dash without all the air conditioning stuff. This is really gross. So this is where the blower motor, this is where the fresh air / blower motor goes. So the blower motor, I guess, blows air or sucks air through here, but it is just a big disgusting pile of, God knows, leaves from all over the world. I never let this car sit outside, so it's not my fault. So yeah, I'm just gonna let this kind of get some water poured out of the heater core, and my plans is just kind of clean this up. I got all the wiring harness out, other than the factory stuff, and the plans is just to let that dry up, and then tomorrow we can get some gloves on, because ew, and we'll stick our hand in that mass of grossness and leaves and God knows what, and clean it all out of there. And then we will break out our vintage air kit and start kind of laying stuff out and getting it ready to go. Yeah, so there's all the pieces and parts. They all came out pretty good. Nick, actually, I was surprised I didn't really have to bust anything. I thought about even cutting off the pipes just to make it a little bit easier peeling it through the firewall, but I just left them on and they did fine. So there is the whole basically air conditioning system with all the cables and whatnot for this thing. But all this stuff works shittily. It works 1978 style. So even in 1978, it probably wouldn't have kept this car cool here in Houston. So the new thing should be, we should be rolling around like there's a blizzard going on up in this car. So yeah, happy, get that stuff knocked out. Tomorrow we will clean, maybe I'll get a vacuum out. I have vacuums, we could vacuum stuff, and start fitting the air conditioning system. That'll be cool. You know, it'd be cool is this thing on the road and driving and free enough of errors that I can sell it and not feel bad. That's the end goal. So anyway, yeah. So till tomorrow, bitches. Update. Update. It's my new thing. That way I don't have to say and so we'll just say update. Working on car, doing stuff. Monkey Fab, Bob the Shop Sheep, be there. Look at this. You guys see the poor Phoenix. This is the remnants of working in a fab shop and running a buffer, because it's just metal dust and dust everywhere. The best we can do is just kind of blow the place out with a leaf blower, but it gets rough in here. It's tough to keep your shop clean when you're doing that kind of stuff. Look at that, so gross. It's like a rat's nest in there. I wish they wouldn't do this. And this is not an old car problem, because my new Toyota 4Runner, every crack and crevice is full of pine needles, leaves. I wish they'd do a better job of proofing that. So we got the kit from Vintage Air, which is in, I think, San Antonio. It's either San Antonio or Austin. I can't remember, but they're real close. They're kind and helpful. Hopefully it all just pieces together well. It's basically, well, I did order the Firebird kit because the F-body was basically the same thing as this as far as how the firewall is laid out. The interior parts, the head unit, the controls, the vents, they're different. So we might have to figure out some way to adapt things here and there, but overall it should work. We have to put a condenser in here, and I left plenty of room. Let's see if I can fit this. I left plenty of room between the intercooler, which is meow, and the radiator, which you can't see. It's back meow. Can I touch it? Yeah, so it's back here. So there's probably about 3 inches in between. Now I do have a transmission cooler here, and it's mounted on the surface, but still there is a good probably 2 inches between the radiator and it. So hopefully that all bolts together well. The engine updates. So it's tough, man. These are tough times we are living in, people. So I have a good friend that has a machine shop, and they do badass work. So it's always very, very tempting to just snowball and let things get out of control. And the fact that one cylinder, I believe it was cylinder number 18, that didn't want to hone out nice. There was a little doop there. It looks like maybe water had gotten the cylinders and kind of sat there. So it's very difficult not to just take the whole engine into my friend's machine shop and have them do a full machine and do a rebuild, but we're trying to just let it go. This is one of those life lessons. We're going to just try and let it go and see what happens. And if it blows up, then it was my fault, and we'll know in the future that we can't let that stuff go. But I don't think it's all that big of a deal. What I did do, though, is I took my heads down there and dropped them off. Do you guys want to see that? Of course you want to see them, right? So let me go grab them. In case you guys are wondering, Bob's doing fine, everybody. It's just not Bob weather because it's too hot to leave the door open. So Bob he's not allowed in the shop in the summertime. Hi, Bob. Although he likes to be in the shop. especially in the summertime because the air conditioning, huh, Bob? But you an outdoor pet. I only like to let him come in and hang out in the shop when it's like bearable. So if it's below, if we're below, I don't know, 75, then we'll open the door, let Bob hang out. But over that, it's too hot, and it's just Bob, what do you got in your butt, dude? What in the hell? What in the hell is wrong with you? His mullet's nice. I figure by next year he's gonna have like the best sheep mullet going, right, Bob? But yeah, he just poops constantly and pees, so you can't be in the shop with the door closed, or else it'll be Bob stinky. You do need a bath. Maybe we'll give you a bath today, huh, Bob? You guys want to see Bob get in a bath? Let me know. Drop in the comments below, and I'll show you how we give Bob a bath. We've gotten pretty good at it. He's such a lovable character. He just loves hanging out with people. Whenever people come over, I had the tow guy yesterday. You guys will notice the old Dodge. The old Dodge Ram has left the building, and we hydroplaned and went into a ditch because I didn't want to kill some poor person that was coming towards me. And we chose the ditch, and the ditch was good and deep, and we hit a culvert, probably going, I would say 50 maybe. I don't think I dropped much speed. And we went airborne, and we landed. We cleared the whole culvert. There was no tire marks whatsoever on it, and landed on the other side. Well, it took the entire front suspension out with it, and the old Dodge is no more, so we're gonna have to find a new shop truck. But whoever comes over, the guy at the tow truck was just as happy as can be, and everybody takes pictures with Bob, to include the tow truck guy. Everybody loves Bob, but you are dirty, bud. All right, so back to business. I don't even know. Oh, cylinder heads, man, you are forgetful. All right, the only thing Bob knows is fear. The only way to get him out is to chase him out with a hose. It's the old carrot or the stick. Bob! See, look at that. He's got moves. He knows. Fuck around with the hose. It's good life advice, Bob. Don't be out there fucking around with the hose. Okay. The very sexy cylinder heads that my buddy at Modern Airflow Dynamics did for me. So these are the actual heads that came off of the 5.3 van motor from when I bought it, and they were 243s. You'll see right there. So I was like, oh, that's a nice deal. I didn't even know. I figured they would just come with some crappy heads. And I'm not a head aficionado. I think the 243s and the 709s are the ones to have. There's 719. I don't know. There's a 7 something, and the 243s are basically the same head, which have the smaller combustion chamber that gives you a little more oomph. And you say, well, Mike, why would you do this? Why would you do this? So here's the deal. I was before I go into what's the deal, let me give you a quick tour of these guys. So they're dirty on purpose because I told Trey I didn't want them clean. I just want them stock looking as possible, and they are that. But they did go through here and do these chambers up for me, so you guys can see in there. Nice. So they CNC these guys when their CNC program, and then they hand finished them. Dual springs, titanium retainers. I think they might have even went with titanium valves. I'm not 100% sure on that. I just said make them good. They softened the valve chambers, or the port chamber, so you guys can see here where you normally have sharp edges that they've went ahead and cleaned them up and rounded off the corners, and that just reduces hot spots, so you won't have as much chance as pre-ignition, which is kind of a neat thing, and the exhaust ports, they are all the same, all nice and CNC machined and then hand finished. So we have significantly improved flow numbers into it. These guys flow 6,000 CFH. I actually don't know that, but I do know that they flow significantly over stock. Here's what I know, and here's why I did this. All right, so back when I was in school to learn engine building at the Samtech here in Houston, I went through the CNC course, and you learn how to do all the programming, how to scan the ports basically, and export it into the CNC machine, blah 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 blah. So what I had was an old crappy set of, I think they were 706s, which were like, or maybe they were 820 something, 823, 826. I'm sorry, I'm not good with the heads, guys, but they were like the crappiest heads that Chevy made, and I got them free on a long block, basically, a block I bought so I could refresh and machine. So they were just sitting around, and I called up Matt and I said, "Hey Matt, do you want to set? Is there any?" He was doing the "Don't BS Me" build, which was like the second or third, I think the third iteration of his Colorado build. And I said, "Hey, I got access. I can port you heads, and that's it. I'll basically throw it in the machine. We'll run the program, and they're yours." I think I might have done a little bit of blending on the valve seats, but I can't even remember if I did that. But they basically went to Matt with just the heads, bare heads, no springs, no valves, no nothing. And he just took junk out of his old junk heads and threw them in and ran them. And it picked up 40 horsepower, if I remember. You can go back and watch the episode on Sloppy Mechanics, Don't BS Me build. I think it would be something to do with CNC ported cylinder heads. So we ran that. I flowed those guys because I have friends that in the head class that learn to do this stuff, and I said, "Hey, I just want to know what's the intake exhaust flow on these guys," and it was atrocious. So I think, just pulling numbers out of space, mind you, and this is a relative comparison. So I think like a good set of these guys CNC ported like this was probably going to run up like high. So it's funny is they give you this like 700 flow number, which you'll probably never achieve. You'll probably be best to reach like a 600 lift on most of these guys. So that's just something to keep in mind when dealing with these numbers. But basically, I think a good head will be like high 200s, low 300s. Okay, so so that being said, I took those heads and we flow test them, and I want to say that they were like everybody was surprised. We took bets, like all the other students were around, and we said like, "Hey, I tell you what, I got $20 for whoever gets the closest," and all of the bets were high 200s, maybe even as ambitious as a low 300. I don't think so, but it was significantly lower. I want to say it flowed like maybe 220-ish. It wasn't much, to be honest, but it still picked up 40 horsepower. And then Matt threw on a Trailblazer SS manifold, which picked up another 40 horsepower. So basically between the two, just improving airflow, you end up with close to 100 extra horsepower. And I want to say that was scaled for the boost. So if you did like a direct comparison, a boost pressure of horsepower, that it correlates into each other. So that to me was like hey, I got a guy that does this stuff. We can show off their skills, help a brother out, and it all works out. So we're going to take these guys here and we're going to pull off my old stock 243s that had kind of like a mid-grade spring. We're going to put this guy on. So our new 5.3 will have gapped rings. All the bearings looked great. I re-honed the cylinders just with a dingle ball hone. There was that one cylinder, I think it was number 8, that just had like a weird spot on the wall. It wasn't, you couldn't feel it, but you could see it with the light. So I know that there's a defect in it. How relevant is it? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We have I like to call it the Richard Holdner hot cam. If you guys watch Richard Holdner, there's like a Summit Stage 2 cam that was pretty mild. It was, I want to say 215-ish. I have it right here. So this is the, will it focus? Yes, so there it is, the Richard Holdner hot cam. which caused quite a to-do on the Facebooks when I posted that. But basically, it is that's lies. This advertised duration. Advertised duration should be illegal. Duration at 500 lift is 218, 227. It looks like the lobe separation is a 112, so a +2 advanced. So there is the little spec sheet. It doesn't want to. There we go. So the cool thing about that cam, when Richard did it on his video on his YouTube channel, was that it made pretty good peak power, which is, you know, something everybody wants to do, to have that big number. But it made a ton of power across the whole band, which was kind of a neat thing. That you gave up a little bit of that top end power to have a massive, you know, middle range. Now it's all dependent on airflow and the efficiency of your turbo system, blah 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 blah. But I always get leery. I don't know how you guys feel, but when that needle's climbing, you put all this time and work and money into your engine, and you're over that 6,500 RPM-ish thing, you get a little and generally where the car seems to live the most is from 3,000 to 5,000. So I get on it, the converter pulls up to $3,000 pretty readily. And then it seems like the bulk of it's really tall geared. I have 315s in the back of this guy with a turbo 400, so that the top speed, I think, in first gear is close to 65, 70 miles an hour. So these gears are real tall, and I think that'll be that adding that middle range is my theory will kind of waken up. I have the LS9 cam in it, which is kind of it's cheap, and it's okay. The top end's okay, but the lower range it loses a lot. I think even over a stock cam in that meat area where this guy wants to live most of its time. So my theory is that we bolster up that area where the engine's living the most. It should make the car funner. So that is how we get to the ported heads and the 5.3. I went back and forth a lot on that, putting my aluminum 6-liter in this guy, but I think it'll be a fun comparison to go from the old aluminum 5.3 with just stock heads and the LS9 cam to the new 5.3. It's the iron block with the little bit more focused cam, and the ported heads with we're going from the old first gen truck style manifold to the Trailblazer SS manifold, and possibly twin turbos. So with all these little, one thing I was sticking at with the old setup was the exhaust back pressure was killing me at higher horsepower levels. It just wouldn't flow enough, and the tuner wasn't really happy. And I don't think the car was very happy there. So I'm on the fence right now to just throw everything back in and drive the damn thing. And the other case would be to fabricate twin turbos for this guy and do all that stuff, which is fun. Yeah, I mean, and that's the point of the car, right? Is I pretty much enjoy working on it as much as I enjoy driving it. So I don't know. You guys let me know. So you guys, I guess, tell me what you want to see. Do you guys want to see Bob getting a bath? Do you want to see this guy getting twin turbos? Should I run on the single turbo? Should I just be lazy? It runs pretty good at low RPMs. That 78, 75, 75, 78, the Verencells is a beast. With the dual, I got the mirror images, the new ones that Veren came out with about 3 months ago or so. And those have 3-inch back housings on them, so I could run dual 3-inch to the single 3-inch exhaust that's on the car and use 2 dump valves to basically make it straight piped, dual 3 inches. But when we're cruising and not approaching boost, then it just runs through the old muffled system, which is great because you can drive the car and have a conversation in it, and it'll be nice because we will have air conditioning, blah 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 blah. So let's get to work instead of just yapping. We got to clean. Got to clean it. Ugh. Ooh. I hate touching shit like that. Let's get cleaning.